Good evening and a warm welcome to Saturday night match of the day once again. Not live, but lively, I can assure you, as on one of the most exciting days of the season, we reflect on 3 FA Cup quarter-final games with teams and their managers on the verge of making history. First, can Brian Clough of Nottingham Forest reach an FA Cup semi-final for the first time in a 32-year career as Forest play Arsenal at Highbury?
Adams straight to Wilkinson and Crosby, onside! It's the newcomer with a great chance to make it too! Winterburn, Wilkinson! Oh, they've missed it!
Next, can Wimbledon reach the semi-finals for the first time in their history and keep a smile on manager Bobby Gould's face?
The bounce is kind, this is Gibson, still Gibson, the ball just would not stop bouncing in front of him, and Coton did well.
And finally, can Ray Harford's Luton Town become the cup sensation of all time by taking a further step towards reaching Wembley 4 times in a season? They're at home too, against Portsmouth.
Oh, Danny Wilson popping up on the right, he wasn't offside, Horns coming across, but there are 2 in the middle to look for. Oh, Allinson, and it hit Harford.
So we start at a packed Highbury Stadium with Arsenal already assured of a Wembley place in the Littlewoods Cup final and in fine form, taking on Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest, Young Bairns. Your commentator, John Motson.
Arsenal's 4th crowd of around 50,000 this season, swelling their overall attendances at Highbury to around 750,000, which means gate receipts of over £2 million. But if high finance mirrors Arsenal's booming fortunes, the distinctive flavour of this appetising cup tie revolves around one man in the opposite camp. Brian Clough has never been further than this in the FA Cup in over 30 years as player and manager, and the football world wonders if this could be his season. Not if Arsenal's current form is any guide. They've won their last 7 matches, and apart from bringing back David O'Leary at number 5 after resting his Achilles injury, George Graham sees no reason to change his side high on bristling ambition. Forest have brought back Steve Chettle at number 2 in place of Gary Fleming, and Gary Crosby keeps his place at number 7. And Nigel Clough will be hoping for a happier day here than on Boxing Day, when he went off with a hamstring injury and missed 8 matches. The referee this afternoon is David Scott from Burnley. The 6th round of the FA Cup, always an exciting moment in the football calendar. And Arsenal will be playing in the first half from left to right. Nottingham Forest today in white shirts and black shorts. Arsenal fans at that left-hand end on the north bank. The Forest supporters at the other end, the clock end. Adams, Hayes, Smith, free kick, Hayes was fouled. Noticeable that Forest have brought Paul Wilkinson back to mark Tony Adams. Foster's keeping an eye on Smith. Header was by Pearce. Here's Winterburn. Sansom. O'Leary. Hayes and Chettle. Oh, Sansom. Adams there. Richardson. Well set up by Arsenal, and when the ball dropped it was Kevin Richardson who struck it. Steve Sutton saw it coming. Adams, Rice. Clough, what a good return. Rice again. Flag was up for offside anyway, but Arsenal can play on. David Rocastle. Well played by Webb. This is Rice. Pearce goes down the left wing. Wilkinson's making ground in the centre for Nottingham Forest. Still Pearce and Lukic able to hang on at the near post. although Pearce would have hoped to get that ball across where Wilkinson was waiting, and Crosby too was coming in from the far side. A good break by Forest. Stuart Pearce relishing perhaps the chance today of the direct comparison with Kenny Sansom. The two England left-backs on the same pitch in a very big game. And Kenny's been going through a pretty rough time recently, so it'll be a challenge for him. That was Richardson. This is Hayes. And this is Smith. Oh, well played, Foster. Vital interception. Webb. The game really picking up pace now. Webb again. Out on the right is Crosby. Well played, Adams. And Foster this time is penalised. But it was his interception back in the penalty area that prevented a great opening for Alan Smith. Arsenal are waiting because David O'Leary appears to need some attention. David O'Leary, who's been playing through an awful lot of pain with his Achilles. In fact, Gary Lewin, the physio there, has been working on him just about all day, every day this week to get him fit. Well, these are exciting times at Highbury. Big crowds. Cup glory. Now David O'Leary will have to come off, and one feared this might happen. They gave him a rest last week, brought him back today, but he's hobbling off now, the big centre-half. And here's a great cheer for Paul Davis, back in the first-team picture following his hernia operation, but there'll have to be a reshuffle. Davis is a midfield player, so I would imagine that Michael Thomas will go back to centre-half. Clough. Wilkinson. Good effort. Oh, that's a tremendous goal. Paul Wilkinson for Nottingham Forest. Struck majestically. A corking goal to light up a cup tie for Brian Clough's team. Laid on by his son Nigel. After Michael Thomas had hesitated, having just switched into O'Leary's position, Clough played it back, and Wilkinson hammered that with such power. It hit the inside of the post and flew in. And Nottingham Forest have scored just 2 minutes before half-time. How big a blow will that be for Arsenal? George Graham looking anxious, but his team win a free kick straight away from the kick-off. Paul Davis to take it. Adams and Smith waiting far side. Adams was up. Hayes! Oh, good stop. Winterburn just wide. Well, Steve Sutton, with defenders in front of him, responded there as Hayes drove that through. It was a good stop. Half-time. Nottingham Forest lead by 1-0. Brian Clough, perhaps as near to a semi-final as he's ever been, with his son Nigel laying on the goal for Paul Wilkinson after 43 minutes. So Arsenal attacking the north bank. Foster for Nottingham Forest, who got that boost only a couple of minutes before half-time. Richardson. Groves. Oh, Perry Groves again. And away by Pearce. Rocastle, well played. Winterburn. Rocastle was held back. Free kick. And the referee has gone to his notebook. Pearce protests. Nottingham Forest have got one of the best disciplinary records in the league, but Stuart Pearce, for pulling back David Rocastle, is booked there, the Forest captain, and it's also put Arsenal in a threatening position from the free kick. Straight to Wilkinson and Crosby, onside. It's the newcomer with a great chance to make it too. Winterburn, Wilkinson. Oh, they've missed it. But the chance was too much for Gary Crosby. Having just come into football at this level, he did score in the last round, but he just wanted too long today. And Winterburn got the ball away, and Wilkinson's follow-up shot went wide. And now the second sub comes on. Niall Quinn to replace Martin Hayes. So Arsenal have got the big guns out in force now. Quinn, well over 6 foot, to join Alan Smith up front. Quinn's in there again. Groves, no, couldn't fall for him. Clough and Thomas. Rice, no, well played by Winterburn. Rocastle. That's Wilson again, the number of tackles he's won. Well, nearly all the play has been with Arsenal, but they can't penetrate, or can they? Groves. They might now. Quinn's in there. Brilliant header out by Pearce. Groves again. Clough. Crosby. Clough. That's a good turn, and what a superb ball. Onside. Brian Rice for Nottingham Forest. Can he finish it this time? 2-0. Rice scores, and Brian Clough closer now to an FA Cup semi-final than ever before. And his son Nigel made the goal that may have killed off George Graham's team. One of the best pieces of appreciation of the game you'll see this season. Many players would have pushed the ball the other way, but Clough was so aware, it went to the left, and Rice was through and away. He had Wilkinson with him if he needed him, but he just pushed the ball past Lukic, and Forest are 2-0 up now, with 16 minutes to go. And a personal triumph is now a possibility for the Clough family. Davis. (2-0) they won here in the league on Boxing Day, Nottingham Forest. 2-0 they lead again this afternoon. Both the Arsenal substitutes used. Fairly careless that though, given away by Forest. This is Richardson. Adams is forward. Smith! Oh! Smith appeals for a corner. Quinn laid the ball on to Davis. It fell for Smith, but the shot going wide gives the impression that it may not be Arsenal's day. Well, just listen to the supporters of Nottingham Forest. Sanson, Groves, Three minutes away, Brian Clough now from breaking new ground, even by his extraordinary standards. Not one of the better headers from Webb. This is Smith. Oh, well, Pearce's was the challenge. Linesman standing there to signal a free kick rather than a corner. Paul Davis placing the ball. Quinn, good save by Sutton. Niall Quinn, the unlucky player. It was a good header, and it was a smart tip over. Richardson now with the corner. Foster with Quinn this time. Oh, great save, Rocastle! Deflection goal! Well, Sutton made an extraordinary save to start with, but when it came out to Rocastle, there was a touch on that as it flew through, and the deflection may have beaten the goalkeeper to make it 2-1. 88 minutes. Definitely got a touch as it went through. And Forest now have a couple of anxious minutes. Well, Brian Clough's team looked to be coasting at 2-0, but at last Arsenal got some reward for their incessant attacking. And we're in the last minute of the match. And the Highbury crowd wondering if Arsenal can stage it. One of the best recoveries, I would think it would have to be of the season if they did, in the closing seconds to deprive Forest. Thomas. Pearce away. Well, the tension must be unbearable down on that bench. Rocastle. There's still time for Arsenal. In by Winterburn. Now Richardson. Quinn. Oh, Davis is in there. And Smith wide. Sutton got to him. A corner's been given. And what a dramatic finale we have here. The ground in a ferment now. Quinn and Smith waiting to come in on the corner kick. Everybody back for Forest. Rocastle to Sanson. Adams away to Quinn on the right-hand side. Forest hanging on. And there it is. Nottingham Forest are through to the semi-final, and Brian Clough gets to that stage of the FA Cup for the first time ever in over 30 years. A moment of personal history for him. And this young Nottingham Forest team, with his son at the heart of the action, have done him proud. Brian, congratulations on reaching the
Tom,
FA Cup semi-final. It's been a long wait for you, hasn't it?
It has. I don't know how long, actually.
Well, we've worked it out about 32 years since you became a young pro.
Well, I hope it's not as long again, because I'm going to be around another 32 years.
What about the match?
Well, from where I was sitting, I thought it was an excellent match, obviously. I could see a lot more, actually, than when the lights are in me face. But it was a good match. I thought we played quite well. Conceded too many niggling free kicks, and we conceded too many corners. I'm not sure how George looks at it, because on pressure alone, he possibly will be a little bit disappointed. But he knows the rules playing away from home. You've got to get in, and you've got to pack the defence and all that type of thing, and be good enough to break. And we broke and could have scored possibly more than the 2 goals we got.
The first one, a cracking shot by Paul Wilkinson.
I couldn't believe it. I saw it hit the post from where I was sitting, and I wasn't quite sure it had actually gone in the net. But obviously it finished up in the back of the net, and it was worthy of any match played in English football.
Now, you normally talk fairly modestly about Nigel, but I think his appreciation in laying on the second goal is something that must have pleased you.
He was involved, obviously. I'm not quite sure how well he was involved, but he did lay a ball round somewhere along the line.
Well, let me interrupt Dad there for a moment to show in detail the part son Nigel did play. His form was most impressive from start to finish, in touch, awareness and accuracy of passing. He sees his target so quickly, as we can see here, as he drills that pass out to Gary Crosby. Perfectly accurate and sitting up there waiting to be taken in his stride. But his part in the first goal, which Dad seemed to miss, laid on the opportunity of Paul Wilkinson. See how quickly he reacts as that ball's flicked on. One touch, sees Wilkinson's run, and if ever there was a perfect invitation to hit the ball with power and accuracy, that was it. His awareness helps other players when they're near to him in laying the ball off so that it sits up and begs for them, and also for targets far away. This was the moment of the game, really. A beautiful feint there leaves Thomas stranded, and he can see Rice's run, and that again is a measured ball over 40 yards, and it was the goal that finally really killed off Arsenal. Well, a splendid performance on a very special day for Nigel, but it takes farther to put the Cup and League in perspective.
Daft thing to say, but managers do like to finish second in league or even first. I think we've got a slight chance of catching Liverpool.
You do?
Yes.
How pleased...
Now, you wouldn't want me to say anything else,
no,
John, would you?
I wouldn't expect you to.
Because I believe it.
Well, positive as always, Brian Clough. I don't know about the league, but few will begrudge him today's deserved achievement after 32 years of waiting. Or Colin Foster, his moment of jubilation when Forest's second goal went in. Well, next we go to Plough Lane, just over a decade ago, a non-league ground, whereas now Wimbledon stand proudly 7th in the First Division and possibly on their way to Wembley. Their opponents, Watford, have also dramatically hauled themselves up from the league basement and have become regular FA Cup quarter-finalists, 4 times in the last 5 years. Your commentator is Barry Davis.
An emotional game is what the home manager is expecting, and his side shows just one change from last week, the return after suspension of Dennis Wise at number 11. 12 months on from their 6th round defeat by Spurs, they're offered a second chance of creating club history. For Watford's Mark Morris and Glyn Hodges, the emotions are likely to be a little mixed. A year ago, they were a part of the Wimbledon story. Now they're key members of a Watford team taking a break from their battle to retain their First Division status. The only selection doubts concerned who played up front, and in the end, Allen and Blissett are given the nod. The smiling Neil Midgley of Bolton is our referee. And away we go on the quarter-final of London Suburbia, which is likely to prove quite a battle. Watford playing up the slope in the first half. Won both the league matches against Wimbledon. There's Blissett early on, and then from a tight angle gets the corner. It's a curious fact that the 2 matches played between these 2 sides were on the opening day of the season at Vicarage Road. That was Dave Bassett's first match in charge of Watford and Bobby Gould's first in charge of Wimbledon, and then when they met again, Steve Harrison was making his debut as the Watford manager. Out by Cork. Kenny Jackett. Allen just couldn't get back far enough. Decided to go for the volley rather than the header. Too long from Hodges. Dave Besant, the Wimbledon goalkeeper, the only goalkeeper captain in the quarter-final round. 2 against 2. And Fashanu is covered by Rostron, and covered well. Good, free kick. Elbow by Jackett. Cork, for Fashanu. Shot was from Wise. As usual, a mass of players on the halfway line. Jones didn't judge its height particularly well. Phelan. And Will Besant dribbled it out of the area. Quite often does, but not on this occasion, predictably. Morris. That's it. But the linesman says it was out, which I have to say surprises me. That's new. Gale. This goes to prove that not every forward ball from Wimbledon is in the air. Balls for 21-year-old Andy Thorne. One of the players being watched at under 21 level. Gale got up but completely missed it. John Besant didn't. Gibson. Good cover by Gibbs. Chase for Blissett. And Gale having a bit of trouble. Was there an elbow? Not according to the referee. They've got a man over if they find the right one. And it was set up for Allen to score after Thorne could only just stop the ball coming across. Delight for Watford, but a total mess for Wimbledon. Gale not winning the ball when he should have. He obviously felt that he was elbowed. No whistle came, no linesman's flag. Play continued, and Allen was helped to the finish by Thorne. Watford in the lead, 19 minutes gone. Jones. Goal has certainly woken up the crowd. The match was up to that point being played in a pretty quiet atmosphere. Fashanu. Trying to run McClellan. Gibbs coming in from the other side. 3 up to help. Away by Morris for the throw. Take it. Gale forward again. Looking for Fashanu though. Finds McClellan. Second header from Porter was important. Now Allen. He's got to go on his own. Good tackle. He gives it back to him. This is Blissett. Support arriving on the far side and the near side through Hodges, whose first touch was not what was required. McLellan. It's too far back, really, and the flag was up for offside. Wasn't a good cross by the Watford captain. And there's Mr. Glum. Sanchez. Phelan moves in. Not much on for Sanchez. He's got to cross it on his own. Fashanu! Well, the cross beat the defence, but the header was no test for the goalkeeper. Gale. It seemed a little unnecessary from Gale, and the referee is calling Gale to him. For some reason, Gale decided that he would hit Malcolm Allen in the throat. Mr. Midgley saw it and quite rightly booked him. One wonders what on earth the conversation can be about. And it's a red. It's a red card. Sent off for hitting an opponent. That he did, and Neil Midgley totally within his rights. He was at fault on the goal, ready did anything that inspired any confidence, and now he's been sent off. Well, rarely can Wimbledon have had such a disastrous 45 minutes. They haven't played well, they've got a goal down, scored by Malcolm Allen for Watford, and Wimbledon have to play the second half with 10 men. Wimbledon bringing on Eric Young at the start of the second half, and he's replaced Alan Cork. Can their 10 men change the position? Certainly they're going to have to find the pedigree which has taken them to such a high place in the First Division. Good punch by Coton. Bobby Gould's expression doesn't seem to have changed, seeing the chance of making up for what he missed 12 months ago. Pushing when they have possession, Phelan well forward. It's Wise well back and doing well. Thorne. Here's Phelan. Well played. He's got the free kick. Dennis Wise has cut across to take it. Young up alongside Fashanu. And it was Young who made it! Now there's a story for you. Wimbledon equalise after only 3 minutes of the second half. And the man who came on as substitute to bolster a 10-man team gets the goal which gives them new life. Now take it easy, says Bobby Gould. Free kick against Gibson for a little bit of after-kicking. Hodges. Well, it's a little unkind perhaps, but he was more positive with his head than the man who went off had been all through. Out by Phelan. Well struck by Porter. bounce is kind, this is Gibson, still Gibson. The ball just would not stop bouncing in front of him, and Coton did well. Don't think you can blame Gibson for that. His height was no great advantage, that's for sure, but the ball just wouldn't sit for him. Jones. Fashanu. And Coton making absolutely sure there was no gap on that near post. On by Blissett. Here's a chance for Sterling. He's got Allen up as well. Well, I think his manager may feel that if it wasn't quite gilt-edged, Sterling should have done rather better with that. Fashanu. Shielding it, winning it, taking them on. Pulled by Jacket. This is as much a hand-off as a hand-hold. Wise to take it. Young goes first. Actually, I think Gibson who made the contact. Hodges. That end determination from Fashanu. He's got Gibson up with him, but he finishes it on his own. Tony Coton turns and walks away as everybody piles on Fashanu, who scores what should be described as a typical goal. As he was running in on the angle, I don't know whether he was aware of where Gibson had gone, but he certainly wasn't concerned about it. He was going to try for the goal, and he got it. And he runs back, milking the applause at Plough Lane. 73 minutes gone. Wimbledon 2, Watford 1, and the 10 men are beating the 11 because the 10 men found the spirit that was so blatantly missing in the first period. Cricket backing in by Gibson. Here's Mr. Midgley's view of it. Allen trying to get in behind. Goodyear stops him doing that. Blissett. And we've turned into trouble, turned out of it beautifully. It's loose, and it's gone for a corner. And I have half a suspicion there was a little nudge on Blissett at a vital moment in that. But that was vintage Luther Blissett. He turned into trouble and spun straight out of it. Went for the near post. Got a corner in the end. Rostron. It's a good header. And it was very, very close indeed. Watch is looked at again, and Wimbledon have made history. They're in the semi-finals for the first time of the FA Cup. And my heaven, they did it the hard way. What their 11 could not do in the first half and never looked like doing, their 10 did in the second. The first goal coming from Eric Young, the winner from John Fashanu. Spirit in the end carried Bobby Gould right through. Wimbledon are one step away from Wembley.
You must have gone through every possible emotion. I mean, I don't think some of our pictures really did you too much justice, because you look ashen.
Ever been a football manager, Barry?
you're going to offer me a job? I might need it.
You're going to ask your wife whether she'd like to go through that anguish. And one of the loveliest things was...
come and work for the BBC.
Well, the loveliest things was that I turned around, the first person I met was my son in the dugout there, and that's the spirit of this football club. We're homely, it's smashing, but at the same time, people want to win. And if they want to win, then surely at the end of the day, if they play like they did in the second half, they'll get their just deserves.
Luton Portsmouth still to come, but first some team news of the only second division survivors in the Cup, Manchester City, who have the daunting task of facing Liverpool at Main Road tomorrow. The good news for City is that all their injury doubts have cleared, and Liverpool-born veteran John Gidman has been given a vote of confidence by manager Mel Machin. He'll play at right back. As for Liverpool, top scorer John Aldridge should be fit after a thigh injury, and Ray Houghton has shaken off flu. A great performance from one Nottingham Forest keeper today, Steve Sutton, but not such a happy day for his clubmate Hans Seggers, who's on loan to Dunfermline. Man of the match last week against Rangers, Seggers was today at fault with the first 2 goals in Hearts' 3-0 Scottish Cup win. Also 3-0 winners, Celtic away to Partick Thistle, but the day's top cup scorers were Aberdeen. They won 5-0 at home to Clyde, and Davy Dodds collected a hat-trick. In contrast, the 2 Dundees failed to produce a goal, and they must meet again at Tannadice. United had their captain, Maurice Malpas, sent off. He'll miss the replay. League news later.
Well, now it's time to continue the extraordinary story of Luton Town's season. Its manager, Ray Harford's first, and his team has already qualified for Wembley in the Littlewoods Cup, the Simod Cup, and is one of 16 qualifiers for the Football League Centenary Festival. Their opponents, Portsmouth, are battling gamely to hold on to their first division place and have reached this FA Cup quarter-final for the first time in 36 years. Your commentator is Tony Gubber.
It's 5 years and 15 matches since Luton lost an FA Cup tie here at Kenilworth Road, but the ravages of their various cup campaigns this season are now becoming visible. Steve Foster back in defence only 8 days after a hospital operation on a fractured cheekbone, but the referee has refused to allow Brian Steen to play with a plaster cast on his left arm. Foster in, Steen out is the only change from Tuesday's lineup in the semi-final of the Simod Cup, and that means that Darren McDonough moves up into midfield. Portsmouth's first quarter-final for 36 years provides a welcome distraction from the worries of relegation. Their only absentee is Clive Whitehead, replaced by Billy Gilbert at right back. John Key of Rotherham is the referee today as Luton start their 15th cup tie of the season. Already in 2 Wembley finals, the Simod Cup and the Littlewoods Cup. And the first kick from Seeley goes into touch, Portsmouth throw. So Gilbert with the throw. Hooked on by Dillon. Oh, that was Connor brought down by Foster, no doubt about that. John Key right on the spot. It's remarkable to see Foster playing because he had to have that compressed fracture of his cheekbone pushed out from the inside in an operation last Friday. But back to lead the Luton defence. Allinson in pursuit. And that's Portsmouth's ball. And pushed away by Seeley. Looked like handball, was it, by Harford? Well, referee John Key had already seen a foul on the Luton keeper Seeley, who looked a little bit hesitant when he came to punch that, and indeed a couple of occasions in that Tuesday night semi-final against Swindon, the Luton keeper looked a little bit uncertain with crosses into the area. Good powerful header, and Seeley's had to come right out of his area. Harper jumped early. This is Danny Wilson. Still Wilson on his left foot. Oh, goal! Four minutes gone, and Danny Wilson puts Luton ahead. And Portsmouth will have to reflect that that was a soft goal. They let Wilson run at them. He took it onto his left side, and Alan Knight, well, he was the solitary line of defence. He was left to do it all on his own and couldn't make the save. But why didn't the defenders close down Wilson long before? A joyous start for Luton, a disaster for Pompey, but all of their own making. Just too far forward of Wilson, who again gets forward from midfield. Portsmouth's free kick. This is Hardiman. He's got Connor to aim for, and Hilaire. This is Hilaire. Back to Hardiman. There's only two in the middle, and they've given it away. Dillon. Neat football again from Luton. This is Ashley Grimes. Cut out by Quinn. Nothing there for Connor. And Gilbert with plenty of time. Well, Portsmouth were quoted 16-1 for the FA Cup before this match began. Already a goal down against the Luton side, who were quoted at 6-1. Ball still in play, and Noel Blake. The route to the keeper's been cut off by Steen. McDonough's header. Freaker. Wilson again in the forward position, pursued by Horn, and again able to get in his shot. And this one spins behind for a corner. Well, they're going to have to pick up Danny Wilson. He's already punished them once. Terrific runs from Wilson from midfield, and he's the man they're not picking up. And Wilson to go across and take the corner. Looking for Harford. Foster against Blake, twice against Blake, still Foster. And it still isn't cleared, and now it is. Well, it was only half a chance when it fell to the feet of Steve Foster. Straight against the defender Noel Blake, who really didn't know too much about it, but two important stops by Blake. That's Ray Harford, the Luton manager, with the instructions.
On the centre half! Danny! Danny! Stop the back four, get out!
Mick Harford flicked on Steen, and he's away. Steen, 2-0. Minutes gone, and it's beginning to look like a cakewalk for Luton. Mark Steen's 11th goal of the season, and following immediately on those fiercely shouted instructions from the manager Ray Harford. The ball forward, flicked on by Mick Harford. There was Steen, who got the better of Blake. He had all the time and all the space to beat Alan Knight. It's Luton 2, Portsmouth 0. Well, Steen got the goal, but Mick Harford causing havoc in the air. Portsmouth just unable to deal with the big Luton centre forward. The little flick on was so crucial, and it brought that second goal. His ball, Dillon, might fall for Connor. Trying to work himself an opening, and the left foot shot was not what he would have wished. Well, Luton's crowd have already had to dip into their pockets quite a few times in 1988 with this remarkable cup success that Luton have enjoyed, and now already beginning to think about a semi-final appearance. Blake. He's looking for a target. Couldn't for a while find one. This is Dillon, and no offside. This is Connor. Got Quinn in the middle. Oh, it's in! Quinn! Well, Quinn will claim the credit, but I wonder if that was an own goal by Foster. But Luton's back four seemed to think that Connor would be caught offside. Connor was away, and the low cross into the 6-yard box, flew in either off the heels of Quinn or maybe Steve Foster. Luton with the free kick. Once again, Blake, the man penalised. And the referee just moving the ball back the full 10 yards. And Luton seem quite clear about what they want. And the referee is going to book Mike Quinn for pushing. So Mick Quinn penalised for pushing the man standing in the wall, and Luton can try again. Well, that's a target that Foster has to aim at, because that's apparently what they have in mind. Now this is Wilson, and it was certainly intended to be Foster's the first time. Well, now it's Luton's throw. In the 45 minutes of the first half have been played. This is time the referee is adding on. And the referee's whistle ends the first 45 minutes. An eventful 45 minutes indeed. And has Mick Quinn shown Portsmouth the way back in this quarter-final? He certainly claims the goal, although it may go down to Foster. But the important thing is that at half-time, Portsmouth now only trailing by 1-2. And an interesting half-time thought for the arguments for and against the artificial surface. Over 1,000 football matches have been played since this one was laid here at Kenilworth Road. But although we're still well short of the 7-year lifespan that was expected, this is being torn up in the summer and a new one is being laid. Portsmouth start the second half, neither side are making a substitution in the half-time interval. But a thought about Luton's injury problems is that young Mark Steen has come out for the second half with his left wrist heavily bandaged. Gilbert. Well, just to get it safely back to Alan Knight. Alan Knight ever present for his 100th consecutive game for Portsmouth today. Quite a record. And Foster claiming that he was the victim of an elbow by Quinn. And this is a worrying sign for Luton. And John Key having quite a long chat with Quinn. And that's a red card. John Key deciding to send off Mick Quinn. John Key saw it as an offence and gave himself no option. Quinn has gone. Foster's back on his feet. And Luton's still ahead by 2-1. And now John Key's coming across to talk to Alan Ball. And this is a caution too for the Portsmouth manager, Alan Ball, whose protest from the dugout was obviously heard by the linesman, who called the referee's attention to it. Oh, Danny Wilson popping up on the right, he wasn't offside. Horns coming across, but there are two in the middle to look for. Oh, Allinson, and it hit Harford. With the goal at his mercy, and it struck his centre forward Mick Harford and went behind. What a let-off for Portsmouth. Well, what a bruising, entertaining cup tie this is. There's something happening every minute of the match. You've really got to have eyes in the back of your head. Donna. Steen's not offside again. Knight thought about coming and he's chipped him. but the flag has gone up. Mark Steen, a lovely little chip over the head of Alan Knight, but the linesman's flag had gone up on the far side. Maybe a little later than Luton would have liked, but it definitely went up, and the goal doesn't count. 70 minutes gone, and Portsmouth decide to make a substitution. Paul Hardiman's the man who's coming off, and it's the veteran Paul Mariner who comes on to take his place. Mariner got ahead to that. This is Fillory. Connor's gone to the far post. Mariner! Oh, beautifully struck by Mariner. That was a real quality strike from the former England international. Oh, Steen, the breaker. Ball who sprints across, but he's got in the ball. Harford! That's it! Mick Harford's 19th goal of the season makes it 3-1 to Luton. A perfect goal from a centre forward at the end of a perfect cross. He buried that. Wilson. Grimes. And that is the whistle. Luton victors by 3 goals to 1. Tremendous occasion for Kenilworth Road. Luton still unbeaten here in the FA Cup for 5 seasons. The goals from Wilson, Steen, and then finally Mick Harford, who surely has done his England prospects no harm at all with a pulsating 90-minute performance, capped by a tremendous finish, a tremendous goal. Portsmouth had to play with 10 men for most of the second half, but in fairness, Luton always the better side. And the celebrations can now begin here at Kenilworth Road, and the problems are beginning to mount because they already have a backlog of 4 league matches which have somehow got to be fitted in before the end of the season, and Luton's season will certainly go in well into May.
Well, perhaps a timely word for Ray Harford's managerial qualities wouldn't go amiss. Whatever happens next, well done to him and to Luton Town. Bob.
So Portsmouth, like Watford, now back to a relegation fight, and another bad result for them today was Charlton's 3-0 win against West Ham. Garth Crooks scored twice. Kerry Dixon missed a couple in the 0-0 draw with Everton, and Chelsea, now 17 league games without a win, are getting dangerously near the playoffs. Norwich are pulling clear, 3-1 winners today at Tottenham, with Kevin Drinkle, the man Spurs would like, among their scorers, and Coventry's 2-1 win at Southampton keeps them level on points with Norwich. They're now only a point behind Sheffield Wednesday, who lost their 5th game in a row. Brian McClare scored twice in Manchester United's 4-1 win against them, but United are still 14 points behind Liverpool. At the top of Division 2, Aston Villa lost 2-1 at home to Leeds. Villa are joined on 67 points by Blackburn, 3-1 winners against Bournemouth. Middlesbrough and Bradford both won, while Millwall and Crystal Palace drew 1-1 at the Den. Only goal difference separates them at the top of 3 as well. Both Notts County and Sunderland drew away, and County lead by a matter of just 1 goal. In contrast, Wolves are now 9 points clear in the 4th division after their 3-1 win at home to Carlisle. Cardiff play at Hereford tomorrow. Fairly good prospects is the forecast for any pools winner tonight. 10 score draws, 9 no-score draws, claims required for 24 points. These are the score draw numbers: 8, 13, 16, 21, 22, 23, 26, 36, 42 and 55. And the 9 no-score draw numbers are 3, 28, 29, 30, 38, 40, 46, 54 and 56.
Well, so we end a fascinating hour's FA Cup action, with history having been made and reputations too. But I trust the odd Wimbledon and Portsmouth player, whose fine achievements in recent years have been commendable, they'll eventually succeed in embellishing those accomplishments with a touch more maturity and self-control. It's a worthwhile target. But just let's end with the flavour of this afternoon's drama and the emotion of it too. Good night to you.